Shimon, I left myself upstairs. So Shimon's Franks, the rov of his shul was near this morning.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yesterday. So Shimon asked me to dedicate the year L'Zeichen Ishmasei, but my cell phone is upstairs. So Shimon, what's the name?
Harav Yisrael Chaim Yehuda ben Yitzchak Yaakov.
And he was the rov of the Shomer Shabbos Shul in
Cleveland.
Right.
He was the Rosh Vada Rabbanim and the Av Beis Din of Cleveland.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
How old man was he?
He was, I'm not 100% sure, but around 91.
Wow. Wow.
Baruch Dayan MS.
Yeah. Okay. Was this from COVID or not?
No, he was already an older man. He wasn't doing so well. And then he had a seizure on Shabbos and wasn't able to recuperate.
Okay. So, Rabbi, are we all here?
Yep.
What do we have?
We're at 27 right now.
27. Okay. Who are we missing? And do you know anybody who's missing?
I don't know. If you want, we could do roll call.
Should I do roll call? Well, I'll wait tomorrow to do roll call. But it's a little less than usual. How is everybody's Shabbos?
Considering bracha, Jim, it's tough.
Okay, yeah.
Well, we had a better Shabbos than normal because we went on a walk and met a bunch of people, so it wasn't like it was so isolated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful Shabbos, beautiful weather.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Is the
We had a reunion on our porch outside.
Yeah, it was quite nice.
Chanuk was there. You guys, Mishiva.
Yeah, Ali. I also you guys were coming out.
And Rafi. Yeah, Rafi was there.
Okay. Is Yehuda Brescher here this morning?
Good morning, good afternoon, Rebbe.
Okay.
Is Eitan on the call right now?
Yes, I thought I saw his name. Eitan, are you here?
I am here.
Okay, he got kicked off. I don't know why. Google Meet decided that
System doesn't like me.
Okay,
Mayor Cohen's here. I really think that means we have to start.
I think it had a problem with you talking about Zoom.
it heard you talking about Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because you wanted to use Zoom, so Google Meet doesn't like you, Eitan. Okay, so Rabbi, I spent quite a bit of time yesterday trying to pick the Ramban and Parshas Emor, and they're not. I mean, at least what the type of Ramban that I'm looking for, I could not find very many. So in order to be mashlim, we're going to go back to two Rambans in Parshas Kedoshim, yesterday's Parsha, and perhaps two in Parshas Emor, or at least one, if not two. So I hope everybody has their Ramban, and I want to mention that tomorrow, this is standard operating procedure. When we do have Shira at 12:15, everybody should have their Gemara, especially tomorrow, because we're going to refer to a Taisvis that you haven't learned yet. It's earlier in the parak, so everybody make sure to have their Gemara, and I assume that everybody has their Ramban. So the first pasuk over here, Rabbi Isai, is in Parak Yud Tes, pasuk Yud Tes, and this is again, it's in Parshas Kedoshim. The pasuk says, "Es chufesai tishmeiru," and then the pasuk says, "Behem tcholis abir kilayim," and then the Torah goes ahead and says you shouldn't go ahead and have kilayim. Not kilai behema, not kilayim of shatnez, not kilai zera, etc., etc. So the Ramban writes over here as chukaisai tishmeiru zokt Rashi ve'elu zokt. The Ramban quotes Rashi ve'elu hein behem tcholes arbir kilayim chukim elu gzeiros melech she'ein tam ledovar. So the Rashi over here says, I assume this is the first time in Chumash, as Chukaisai says Rashi, what's a chayk? Chayk Gzeres HaMelach. This is just a law from the Rebbeinu Shalom she'ein tam l'davar. There's no reason for it. When the pasuk says a chayk, that means there's a chayk, like paradum is a chayk. How does it work? So Rashi says all of these things in the pasuk, in which the Torah forbids going ahead and plowing with a donkey and a horse together, or the Torah prohibits going ahead and trying grafting fruits together, or seeds together, or of course shatnez together. All of these, says Rashi, are included in the chayk, and chayk has no reason for it. Says the Ramban, "V'lo hiskiru Rabbi Seinu sheyeh tam nelam v'shigeitzah hara v'umas olam v'shiben alen ela b'levisha shatnez v'loy b'kloi behema." So the Ramban says, I don't agree with Rashi, because Rashi lumped together all of the Yisurei of shatnez, what's not shatnez of klayim. Now remember, Rabbi Isai, there's different types of kloyim. There's kloy zera, when you graft fruits together. There's kloy behema. There's kloy when you go ahead and you plant different grapes and wheat together. And there's, of course, shatnez. And Rashi lumps them all together and says they're all kloyim, they're all gzeres hakosiv, they're all chukim, and there's no reason for it. Or say Zok Rashi, Zok not true. Because when Chazal refer to something as a chayk, they specifically specify shatnez. And it is in regards to shatnez that the Ramban says that the Chachamim say that the Umas HaOlam make fun of us. You guys are crazy. What's wrong with wool and linen together? So says the Ramban, that Ein HaChamami is a bona fide chayk, and that's what Chazal referred to as a chayk. But the other things that are mentioned over here, not plowing together with two animals, not planting two seeds together, not grafting, that's not a chayk. And the Ramban is going to explain why the Torah said it. The only one is a classic, bona fide chayk is shatnez. That's what the Umas Olam say. You guys are crazy. Now the Ramban continues. Ve'ena kavona bohen sheti exeres melech malcham malachim b'shum mokam b'lei tam. He also argues fundamentally with Rashi. When Rashi says chayk is b'lei tam, that is not true, says the Ramban. Ki kol imrais haloikat serufa. Because the pasuk says in Mishlei that imras elokim, imras aloha, the words of Hashem are trufa. Trufa is miloshen, they're purified, they're sterling. So to go ahead and to imply that the Rebbeinu Shalom gives us a law in which there's absolutely no reason for, it's just that because I said so, that is not true. We may not know the reason, but every single of the laws, even if it's a chayk, there is a reason. And there is a reason for shatnez. And there is a reason for paraduma, which are the classic chayk. So he's arguing with Rashi on 2 points. Number one, don't tell me chayk means b'loi tam. B'loi tam that are niskal to us, but there is a tam. And number two, more to the point, that the things that are enumerated over here, kloi behema, kloi zera, etc., there is a reason, a rational reason for them, which the Ramban will explain in a minute. Rak HaChukim, says the Ramban, hem gzeres melech asher yochuk malchusay mibli sheyigala toil asam la'am. Chayk Rebbeinu Shalom gives us a mitzvah, it doesn't tell us the reason. It's a law. Ve'en ha'am nenin bohem. The reason it's a chayk is because we don't see any benefit thereof, which means mishpatim, don't steal, don't takash lashon hara, don't withhold your payment of your workers on time. All these things. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. That's societal. So that is mishpatim. Chukim is things that we do for which we don't know the reason and which we do not see any benefit to us for them. Basa b'cholav. I mean, Rabbi say, the whole world loves cheeseburgers. There must be something very good about basa b'cholav. There must, when you go ahead and you have, chicken and cream sauce, there must be something very good about that. So we don't see the tayelis, and we don't know the reason, but there is a reason. We accept it. Chukim are things that we do, even though we don't understand, that tell us for us. Perish the thought. Don't think that there's no toelis. There's something very good, very important about not eating shellfish. Shellfish does something bad to you. We don't know what it is, but there's a reason behind it. Now, this is the main point of the Ramban. V'atam b'kilayim. The reason the Torah asked kilayim, ki Hashem bara hamina ba'olam. The Rebbe Shalom created apples. He created oranges. He created wheat. He created grapes. B'chol balei hanafesh b'tzmochim u'b'balei nefesh hatnua. When it comes both to plants and animals. V'nosan bohem koyach hatoledes sheyiskaimu hamidim ha'im la'ad. And the Rebbe Shalom gave both plants and animals the ability to reproduce. La'ad. As long as the world, the Rebbe Shalom wants the world to go on. And the Rebbe Shalom gave every plant and every animal the ability to reproduce. And the Rebbe Shalom made bulls, and he made cows, and he wants the bulls to impregnate the cows, and he wants Bnei Adam to go ahead and to put the bulls and the cows together so that they'll be impregnated. And he made male horses and female horses. And Rebbe Shalom, I don't know if you know this, but in plants or in fruit, there are the male and their female. You know, we were once in California, and we went to an almond farm. I mean, I didn't know this, but they went and pointed out to us, these are the male almonds and these are the female almonds. That's the way the Rebbe Shalom created the world. That's how they reproduce. And the Rebbe Shalom wants them to produce. Now listen to the next line. V'hamarkiv shnei minim mishana u'makich b'maisa bereshis. And when you go ahead and you mix breeds, you are in fact, in a certain sense, denying maisa bereshis. And you are saying, Ki'ilu yachshev shlo hishlim HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'olamai kol hatzerech. B'nai Shalom, you know, you did a pretty good job. You certainly get an A minus, maybe even an A. But you don't get an A plus. Why? Because there's no tangerines. And there's no pluots. What's a pluot? A plum and I think an apricot. You know, B'nai Shalom, I love pluots. And you didn't do that. So when I go ahead and I mix breeds, and an orange, I don't know how you get a tangerines and orange and something or another, you're in effect saying, B'nai Shalom, you know, you could have done this better. And therefore, Kilu Yachshav Shlehishim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ba'olamai Kol HaTzairach. You didn't do it all of it. V'yachbaitzu Lazar B'briyasei Shalolim L'haisiv B'briyas. You know, Ribbana Shalom, horse is a nice thing. And donkeys are nice things. But you know what? When you go ahead and you mix a horse and a donkey, you get a mule. And mules are terrific. They're like the beast of burdens of donkeys, but they have the agility more of a horse. You missed it. You blew it, Rebbeinu Shalom. And therefore, we're going to come along and we're going to improve on your work. And that, Rabbi Shai, is heresy. Because you cannot improve on the Rebbeinu Shalom. And the Ramban continues. V'amini v'balei chaim lo yiridu min b'she'eno mino. V'gam ha'kroivim b'teva she'yolidu mehen ken ha'prodim yikar zamam ki hem lo yolidu. There's another thing wrong, Rabbi say, with mules. Because the reality is, and even though there can be exceptions to this, the Gemara talks about in Bechiros, but b'derech klal, that when you go ahead and you mix a horse and you mix a donkey and you get a mule, mules do not reproduce. They can't reproduce. And that, Rabbi say, is being sois or maisa beracious. Because Rebbeinu Shalom wanted all the plants and all the animals to keep on reproducing. And when you go ahead and you create this, like for instance, a mule, yikare zaram. Mules don't produce mules. Kihem lo yolidu. V'hinei mitzad shnei hadvarim ha'ela. And because of these two things, pulas harkova b'minim dover nimasu botol. The Rebbeinu doesn't like that. He does not want you mixing breeds. V'gam atzmochim asher yakivu min b'shein aminoi ein pirium tzamech harecha harekein. V'yu b'isurim shnei tamim ha'azkorim. And that's why the Rebbeinu answered this. Kloi behema, kloi zera, kloi plants. The Rebbeinu doesn't want us doing that is because we're tampering with Maisa Bereshis. We're implying it wasn't complete. And also that some of these animals are not able to reproduce. V'zeh tam sadcha lo tizra kiloyim, shehu ba'arkova al dasa beisenu. V'asar af kiloy zroim v'nei sheyishtanu b'tivam gam b'tzurasam b'yesim yeknu zemizeh v'yekol garim menu kilu hurkav mishnei minim. Therefore, says the Ramban, this is the point that he tried to make. When Rashi says that this is a chayk, b'litam, maybe shadness is like that, but not kloi zera, not kloi behema, not kloi elon, not all of this. He argues with Rashi. And then he says over here, v'oser lachreish b'shover chamor mesheder kol oivdei adamas lahavi tzimdoi berefes achas v'yavo l'dei harkofa. So what's wrong with going ahead and plowing with a shover chamor? What's wrong with plowing with them? You're not tampering with Maisa Bereshis. You're not mixed breeding them. So what's wrong with that? So the Ramban says, you know what's wrong with that? It's because when you go ahead and you have animals that you plow with, you usually keep them in the same barn. And therefore, when you go ahead and put the cow with the chamor, you put the female cow with the male chamor, or vice versa. Guess what? They're gonna breed, and when they breed, then that's going to be a sterile animal. The Rebbeinu doesn't want that. So I just want to be meisef Rabbi Said that the Sefer HaChinuch goes ahead and adds a very interesting. He has a different reason why the Torah went ahead and assered plowing with a shor and a chamor. Very fascinating thing. Listen to this chinuch, Rabbi Sai. A shor, or a cow, an ox, a cow, a bull, they chew their cud. A chamor doesn't chew its cud. So the chinuch says an amazing thing. That the chamor says, hey, what's this guy eating? and I'm working like a donkey, and this guy's working, but he's eating the same time because he keeps on chewing his cud. So the donkey is in tsar because he's working with this cow that's chewing its cud. Says the chinuch, the Torah doesn't want that. The Torah doesn't want us to go ahead and put this animal, this poor donkey, what's this guy eating? I'm hungry also. The chinuch adds another thing, which is neger abayis human beings. You don't put two people of different natures together because that just doesn't work well together. You put people of the same mindset, two people are the same. But to put two opposites together, that's not a good combination. That's also the reason the Torah went and assered plowing with two different meaning. That Rabbi say is the first Ramban. Does anybody have any comments? You can unmute yourself. Nobody has any comments?
What is this about we're afraid that the donkey's going to feel bad, like that he's not eating?
Yeah, the chinuch says that. That's right.
When do we find that, like, we worry about animals' feelings? I understand that we are not going to hurt animals and that we're not going to cause them physical pain, but what is this, like, mental tsar by animals? I thought we held that animals don't really have that kind of thought.
So, Mr. Brescher, were you in the year last year?
Yes.
Did we learn Parak Shiluach HaKain? Oh, you weren't there last. We didn't learn school last year. The whole Easter of Shiluach HaKain, because the Torah doesn't want us to impose pain on animals like the mother bird, because the Torah wants us to be compassionate with human beings. And if you have to be compassionate with animals, you'll can be compassionate with human beings. So this is not unprecedented. The whole Yisoid, whether you learn like the Ramban or learn like the Rambam, the whole Yisoid of the mitzvah Shiluach HaKain is based on this concept that the Torah doesn't want us to inflict unnecessary pain on Balei Chaim.
So what about the Ramban? He's saying that every single, mitzvah or avera or whatever it is in the Torah is not a chok, and everything has a reason. So then,
well, no, there are chukim. There are certain. He's not denying that because the Torah says chukim and mishpatim. What he's saying is that Rashi says there is no tam, and he's saying there is a tam, but the Rebbeinu Shalom hid it from us. But avada, there is no mitzvah or iser where the Rebbeinu Shalom says bang your head against the wall, for which there is no toelis. There is a toelis, but
so then what makes it a chok?
The fact that we don't understand the purpose and the reason and what toelis it is for us. That's what makes it a chok. That's what they're says. Those are things that we understand. We see the toelis. Why can I not eat a cheeseburger? We don't see the toelis in that. But there is a
What's the practical nafkamina between those two shitas and what a chok is?
I don't think there is a practical nafkamina. At least practically, philosophically, there's a difference. But the Ramban over here is arguing with Rashi on 2 points, and he's saying that your understanding of kalai behema kalai zera, that is incorrect, because that does have a rational reason behind it. Okay, any other questions, Rabbi, before we go on to the next Ramban?
What was Rabbi saying that things of opposite natures can't coexist? Can Rabbi elaborate on that?
They can't coexist, but they should have to work together in the same situation, because there's going to be too much tension, too much friction, which means,
I was thinking, does that apply to the human population as well?
Absolutely. That's what the chinuch says it for. That put people of like minds, again, we're not talking clones, and no two people are alike. But do you have a chavrusa, Mr. Musad?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is your chavrusa somewhat similar to you?
I'm saying we're both. Yeah. I mean, I mean, we're not like we're not drastically different, but
Right, because if you go ahead and you have two people that like you have said a chavru says that this guy wants to sit and think about a certain line in a Rashba for 3/4 of an hour, and okay, got the Rashi, but I want to go weiter. That's the chavrusa shav that doesn't work. You have to avada has to be with, but that's what the chinuch is saying exactly. Okay, should we move on or any other thing? Okay, I guess we'll move on. Okay, the second Ramban Rabbi said, again in Parshas Kedoshim, is in Perek Yutes Posich Chav Gimel. Varaltem or Losayas Pirioi. Okay, now this is again Perek Yutes Posich Chav Gimel, but it's in the middle of the Ramban. I don't know. I know in my edition of the Ramban, it's a separate paragraph, but the place that we're starting is V'tam HaMitzvah Hazais. Can someone find it? I don't know what Ramban you're using, but if you're using a Shavel Ramban, where is it? If you're using a Mikros Gedolos, where is it? V'tam HaMitzvah Hazais. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay, Evan, where is it?
In the Mikros Gedolos, it has a bold. It's bolded. It's a new paragraph.
In the Mikros Gedolos, it's bolded, and in the Shavel Ramban, anybody have a Shavel Ramban?
Kuf Chav Hey.
Kuf Chav Hey?
The ninth line of Kuf Chav Hey.
9 lines. Okay, Kuf Chav Hey. Okay, so just briefly, before we get into the Ramban, what is the mitzvah of Orla? So the mitzvah of Orla is that if you plant a fruit tree, so for the first 3 years, you're not allowed to use the fruit. And the fruit is called Orla. In the 4th year of the life of the fruit tree, you have to treat that Orla like you treat Meiser Sheni, which means you're allowed to eat it, but you have to bring it up to Yerushalayim, and you have to eat it in Yerushalayim. And if it's too big or too bulky or too heavy to bring to Yerushalayim, you have to be paid it, redeem it, and bring the money up to Yerushalayim and spend the money on foodstuffs in Yerushalayim, which is just like the din of Meiser Sheni. That's in of Orla. First 3 years it's Aser. 4th year it's called Kodesh Hilulim Hashem. You have to eat it in the Yerushalayim, and after the 5th year, you're allowed to go ahead and to be nana from the fruit. Says the Ramban, what is behind this mitzvah? The Tama mitzvah hazais. L'chaberis Hashem mereishish kol tvuasenu mipri ha'etz v'tvuas hakerem v'loy neichal mehen ad shenavi kol pri shana achas hilulim l'Hashem. What the Ramban is saying over here is that Orla is similar to Meiser. That before, just like by Bikurim, the first fruits you have to bring up to Yerushalayim, which is an expression of Hakaras Hatayv, that the Rebbeinu Shalom gave you these fruits. So Orla is similar to that in that the first fruits are Kodesh Hashem, Kodesh Hilulim Hashem, meaning again, they're not osir for you to eat, but they have to be eaten in the presence of Yerushalayim, and the first 3 years are osir totally. Now the Ramban continues. Okay, I get this, says the Ramban. You have to show your Hakar Satayv, you have to bring it up to Yerushalayim, but why the 3 years is it osir? When you have the fruits, the first fruits of the first year, maybe that's Kaddish Hashem. Why? What's this 3 years, Rabbi Isai, of not eating it? So the Ramban says, "Ne'ena perish b'shal shanim roy lahakri lefnei Hashem hanichbad lefisha hu muat," because apparently the first 3 years of the life of a fruit tree, the fruit on the first 3 years are very small; they're very few. Lefi shumot ve'ein ha'ila neisin tam b'pri hatam reach toiv b'secha shal shanim. They don't taste good. They don't smell good. And truth be told, says Ramban, most fruit trees don't produce anything in the first 3 years. Therefore, the Torah says, wait, full 3 years. And when you finally get a decent crop, called Pri Harishan Hatoiv Kodesh Lifnei Hashem V'Shom Yochlu V'Yihalu Es Hashem HaMitzvah Zeis Doima LeMitzvah HaBikurim. Azay Zok Ramban. First 3 years is not worthy to bring out the Rebbeinu Shalom. But this Rabbi Isai is another example of the concept of Hakaras HaTayv. And you all know Rabbi Isai that by Bikurim, there's a mitzvah of Mikra Bikurim, and you have to go ahead and you have to say the Rebbeinu Shalom. You have to go ahead and say the whole Parshas Bikurim, Arami Avidovi, Vayer Mitzrayim, Vayagosham Bimseimot, Vahisham L'goy Gadol, etc., etc. So it's Hakaras HaTayv. And you've heard from me, I'm sure you've heard from others as well, that the Al Shech HaKodesh says that the three it's a medrash. The medrash says bishvil 3 things Rebbeinu Shalom in the world, 3 things that are called reishis. One of the reishis is Klal Yisrael is called reishis, and Torah is called reishis, and Bikurim is called reishis. And for those 3 things, Torah, Klal Yisrael, and Bikurim, the Rebbeinu Shalom created the world. So Al Shech famously says, Bikurim, that's on the big 3. So the Al Shech says that because Enochinami Bikurim is Hakaras HaTayv, and Hakaras HaTayv is fundamental to being a human being. And I have added Rabbi Isai Zog from the Brisker Rov, that the Brisker Rov once said, he said, if a person has a certain Mida Raw, so he's not an Olam Shalom. Let's say you're a Balkas, okay? You're a mensch, but you got to work on your kas. Let's say you're a Balgaiva. Okay, you're a mensch, got to work on your gaiva. It says the Brisker Rov, if a person is not a Makar Toiv, is Nishkein mensch. It's a chisorin in being a human being. And the Ramban is saying over here that Orla, the first 3 years, the 4th year you bring out to the Rebbeinu Shalom, that in fact is another type of Bikurim. Now, the Ramban continues. V'emes hadavar oid ki haperi b'chilas nitilas ha'ilin rav halechus dovak moed mazik l'guf. Apparently, there's a lot of moisture, and it's not good for the body. V'netev l'achila kedog shein l'kaskesses. Now, v'hamacholim hanasar b'teresh shehem roim kam l'guf. And this is, again, apparently it's not healthy the first 3 years, and therefore the Torah asserted it. Now, v'harav nosan tam b'zeh b'meira hanavuchim. So as he does many times by Beisai, the Ramban quotes the Mar Navuchim. And now, Rabbi Isai, anybody's free to answer this question. Who wrote the Mar Navuchim? Hello?
The Rambam.
The Rambam.
Rambam.
Okay, so Mr. Yossi Haber in Eretz Yisrael, where it is now almost 8 o'clock. Mr. Haber, what are the works that the Rambam wrote?
What other books did he write?
Yes.
The Yad Chazaka, the Sefer HaMitzvahs.
Go ahead, 2 more.
Parish of Mishnayos.
Very good. Number 1, last one. Igeres Hashmad. Okay, but good. You got the main ones. The Rambam wrote the Parish of Mishnayos, the Rambam. He wrote the Yad Chazaka. He wrote the Sefer HaMitzvahs. And wrote the Mer Nevuchim. The Mer Nevuchim was written for the people of his generation that were bothered by other philosophies, and therefore it's a very philosophical work. And the Rambam tries, at least in the 3rd chelik of the Mer Nevuchim, to go ahead and to give rationales to the mitzvahs. So the Ramban writes over here, V'harav nosan bozeh tam b'mora hanavuchim ketamai b'roiv hamitzvahs. The Rambam again tried to, as he does with all the mitzvahs, Ki hoyu lechartumim v'lechashvim b'zman hazahu mine kishuv yasei som beis netilas ha'ilan. The Rambam, there's a lot of mitzvahs in the Torah that the Rambam says that the reason the Torah answered it or gave us this mitzvah is lahoitzimi libon, and to disabuse us from the notion of the Bali Avodah Zarah. In fact, the Rambam says, why there's an issur of cutting off one's payas. So the Rambam says is because in those days, the Kaimrim Avodah Zarah, the priests, would go ahead and have like round tops. They would shave off all the side hair and just have on top. So therefore the Asudit. This is all harchokas Avodah Zarah. So the Rambam says over here, Ki hoylach hartumim lachashrim bezmanahu mine kishuv yasei som be'ez tetilas ha'ilan. When you plant a tree, you go ahead and you come and call in the priests to go ahead v'yachshavu ki bohem yimar ha'ilan l'hoitzipir kedes mana hiyadu keminhag ha'olam. Which means the priest would say hocus pocus daminokus, and this would go ahead and the tree wouldn't take 3 years to give out good fruit. It would do it right away. And therefore, this is what the Goyim thought. This is always, this is still by the Goyim. For instance, when you launch a ship, the priest comes and he blesses the ship. That's part of the thing of christening a ship. They still have this. When you're in the world of kashrus, Rabbi Isai, that when you speak to the Goyim about, you have to have a rabbi there, they always think the rabbi has to bless you're making potato chips, and Utz's potato chips or Harris, but the rabbi has to bless it. That comes from them. That when they go ahead, which came from Avodah Zarah, the priest has to bless it. So the Rambam says it used to be that the priest, the Kerem Avodah Zarah, used to come to the trees and go ahead and to bless it. And therefore, v'yachshavu ki bohem yimar ha'ilan l'hoitzi piri kedes mana yadu b'mhaga shalom uvavo Yaakov es hapri lefnei Avodah Zarah shasu b'shma hakishavahu, and then they would go ahead and they would eat the fruits in front of the Avodah Zarah, because it's because of the blessing of the priest and the hocus pocus that you got your fruit. Therefore, says the Rambam, Lakach sivza hater b'isser haperi abo kodesh al shanim. No, we wait 3 years. There ain't nothing going to help. There ain't no Avodah Zarah hocus pocus that is going to go ahead and make the tree grow, and therefore we just don't eat it. Shlo yavo lases hamaisim aroim mehein, that they shouldn't imitate. We cannot imagine, Rabbi Isai, of the Yetzer Hara that existed for Avodah Zarah in those days. We cannot imagine it. And therefore, the Jews were so lohut and so anxious and passionate to copy the Avodah Zarah. Therefore, guess what? First 3 years, forget it. Shlo yavo lases hamaisim aroim ahev ki rube ha'ilanas yaviu peris b'shana arvias v'she'achenu l'fnei Hashem hafach achlon isol l'fnei Avodah Zarah. And that is why the 4th year, rather than eating in front of Chas v'Shalom the Avodah Zarah, we eat it in front of the Rebbeinu Shalom. And that is how the Rambam explains the concept of Orla Shalosh Shanim. You don't eat it at all. V'Shana Arvias, you go ahead and you eat it Lifnei Hashem. Azay Zok Ramban. So Rabbi say, as it turned out, I did not get to the small Rambans in Parshas Emor. So maybe we'll see what's new next week. Maybe we'll again do the same thing. Part last week, part this week. Once again, Rabbi Isai, you should have the 4th sheet, which is a very, very interesting sheet. It goes to the Indian of why we're not intermarry. It's a very important sheet. But tomorrow, as Rabbi said, the shir is going to be on Daf Lamed Vav Amud Aleph, sheet number 3, about Shemin Beitino Shal Daniel Osroi, or Beitino Shal, or the other, the Shmuel Zlifashin Shal Surin. Anyway, shir tomorrow is on sheet 3. You should have sheet 4. If you finish sheet 3, you start 4 again, but you don't have to worry about sheet 4 until midweek probably. Don't want to start speaking about that now. Again,
all the sheets are available on Google Drive.
Okay, there you have a Moshe Chaim Golian that it's available on Google Drive, and as I mentioned, Rabbi Isai, as a general rule, but specifically tomorrow, make sure you come with your Gemaras. Have a good day. I hope everybody's keeping up with their second Seder, and we should hear through a